turn this, to change this, to change that, to just chatting. Alright, that looks like it's on. Alright, we're good. Alright, so I wanted to get this out. I know this is outside of what I have been doing for these, but I wanted to get this out because I am quitting Arena, and over the next few weeks, my interest is going to wane heavily, which is a bit of a shame because Arena does just about everything I would want out of a card game to do. You get packs, you get the fun of opening those packs, you can build a collection, you can import decks, the deck building is intuitive, the gameplay is fun, the everything that has to do with these cards is excellent. Like, Magic the Gathering has been around for a very, very long time, and there's a reason. Whatever Wizards of the Coast's failings are, they at least have a very clear idea on how to keep this card game, balanced and engaging over the course of a very long period of time. I have never been into Magic the Gathering. I never got the chance when I was younger. I was more of a social game, and my first card games were Pokemon and then Yu-Gi-Oh. Like, those were the ones that I ended up engaging with, and those were the ones that my friends were into. So those were the ones that I played. And so when it came to Arena, this looked like an excellent way for someone who had never been into that scene to get in and understand the game and understand the cards and have fun with some of the intricacies of the platform and build some decks and have some fun. And nearly everything in Arena does that just about perfectly. Everything from the basic quest system to the various queues. It promotes, engagement, creativity, and fun. However, there are two functions in the game that act like a noose around the necks of anybody playing it, because those systems have knock-on effects that are felt throughout the core of the game. And the most important one is the 15 daily wins system. I can understand a game having a daily wins system. Most free-to-play games do. However, most free-to-play games also calculate that number towards about an hour, especially in a game where you're playing against other players. So your chances of victory are not certain. You can't outthink them because they aren't bots. Or rather, you can't pre-outthink them. You can't come up with a strategy to enter into the game that will definitely win you the game because you're not playing against a computer. So most games like that aim at 1 to 3 hours of engagement. You want, if a player gets off on a nice hot streak, they'll clear their daily win requirements within an hour, and if the player is struggling a bit, probably about 3 hours. That's a decent engagement window. At 15 wins, if the player is doing well, you're looking at about 4 hours. If the player is doing poorly, you're looking at about 15 to 20 hours, if never. I have rolled over multiple times. Last night, which was the one that ended it for me, because this was on a string of these, I had played for 6 hours and gotten 6 wins out of 15. Because sometimes the meta just turns and you can't get a good deck to get together. Most nights I was clearing the 15 wins, but it would be 3 in the morning, 4 in the morning, after, 3, 4, 5, 6 hours of the day, and it eats up my time to do anything else. That's 6 hours of time. Even if I'm doing it on the side while I'm doing other things, it is a serious time sink. And, this of course begs... This is of course where we get into, the player responses. Well, don't do 15 wins. The rewards drop off precipitously after 4 and 5. But if that's the case, why even have the other 10 wins? Why not just have it at 5 wins and be done with it? If the intent of the game is that you do not go to 15 wins, then don't have rewards for 15 wins. This isn't hard to figure out. Because what happens is that players go after 15 wins. And because it can take so long, because it will take so long, what ends up happening is players are incentivized to play quick games, surrender early, and just literally flood the play queue with anything that could win quickly or win or lose quickly. So even if it has a 30% win rate, like the T-Bolts were being run in play a little while ago, before I believed T-Bolt's trickery got rotated out, I would see these decks constantly. And you know what? Sometimes they'd surrender on turn 2 because they had drawn what they needed to get the trigger off. But, when it works, the other player surrenders. Hell, it gets to the point where players are so triggered by seeing these decks over and over again, the moment you play T-Bolts, the moment you play a 0-cost spell at 2 mana, people are surrendering already because they just don't want to deal with it. The same thing starts to happen with other decks like mill decks. You play a Ruin Crab and immediately people surrender. I actually did this. I didn't even build a proper mill deck. I just built a deck with a bunch of mill cards in it and made sure that I had a Ruin Crab in my opening hand. And the second I played the Ruin Crab, there was a 1 in 3 chance that the other person just surrendered immediately because they didn't want to deal with it. And this is what happens. Or the removal decks, the decks that I played one not even a few nights ago where they had 13 cards left in their deck and they had played 2 monsters. The entire game had been them removing every single card I played and then doing nothing. That was it. We just stared at a blank field for an hour while I waited for them to finally draw a monster to kill me. But these are the types of decks, and the goal there is to just force a surrender. Is to say, if you're here playing for 15 wins, you're going to surrender quickly. Because even if you win this game, it's going to be 45 minutes to an hour, and you do not have the time to do that if you're going after 15 wins. I am betting that you will surrender early. And this also leads to the roping, where people will literally wait until the last few seconds of their rope to play things and finish up their turn. So that you are taking as long as humanly possible to convince the other player, hey, if you're going after those 15 wins, you better surrender right now because I'm not letting you get them. You want to play this game out? It will be slow and it'll be torturous. It'll take 45 minutes. Even if I lose, you're going to be here a while watching this rope burn down. Most of it. Probably should just surrender and let me have that win and move on. That's the type of behavior that gets popularized with 15 wins. Because these people, as many times as they are going to run into the oddball who will sit there and let them eat the time, more often than not, people are just going to surrender immediately. And they'll get their win and they'll move on. And they'll get to their 15 wins rather quickly and move on. This is and this is what the play queue has become. And you know that because when you go asking for solutions to this problem, the community responses don't play standard play queue, play in ranked. Ranked is far calmer. There's a lot less troll. People are actually trying to play the game. And when your calmer queue is the ranked queue, there's a problem. When your healthier queue is the ranked queue, you have a very serious problem with the game because you're not going to get new players. New players are going to come in, they're going to see how utterly toxic this play queue is, and they're going to stop playing. When I started playing 5 months ago, I gave this a full 5 months of a trial. I brought in at least one other friend, and they quit within 2 weeks because they saw the 15 daily wins, and they saw the toxicity of the play queue, and they weren't having any of it. And for all of those who are like, well, they've got this weird deck matching thing, so if you don't play a standard deck, or you play with fewer rares or something, you're going to get a different people in the queue. You're full of shit. I have spent 5 months tiddling and toying around with it. I built my own decks, and I got the same set of trolly, bitchy-ass decks in the play queue. Because the play queue, as much as that deck matchmaking is certainly in place and certainly probably trying to do something, if the only people that are in the queue are the trolls, that's what you're going to get. And that's the thing that I think is the biggest issue right now, is that the health of the play queue has deteriorated to the point where most of the play queue is trolls. Most of the people playing in the standard play queue are just trolling. And the unfortunate case is that blocks off new players. New players aren't going to be as willing to just jump right into ranked. New players are not going to be as eager to, or new players aren't going to have the resources to play in the other queues properly. They're just not. It's harder to build a traditional deck or a historic deck. Heck, I should know. I've been actively attempting to get new decks. I still can't afford traditional decks. I've actually put money down in this game, and I couldn't afford traditional decks. I bought the beginner bundles for the Forgotten Realms. I bought about 50 packs for Forgotten Realms, and then I bought the two pre-orders for Innistrad. And I used all of those resources and all of those materials to get my ass kicked. I spent over $200 on this game, and I'm getting my ass kicked by trolls who aren't playing to win, they're just playing to eat my time. That's not a healthy experience. That's not a way to get players engaged with your game. And, when I went looking and people are like, well, people need to stop surrendering so easily in Magic the Gathering Arena. It's like, well, you have to understand that behavior is incentivized by there being 15 wins. If I want to get those at a reasonable speed, I'm probably wanting to look at 5 to 10 minutes per game max. In fact, at 5 minutes, if I'm not in a good position to win in the next few turns, I surrender. Because I have better chances at getting a win faster by just surrendering and going on to the next match. That's how bad it's gotten in the play queues. And it's starting to bleed into ranked, because as people are leaving play queues, these trolls are having a harder time getting what they want out of standard play. And so they start invading ranked play because there aren't a whole lot of penalties for playing the same in ranked. You can't drop down. From when you go up a rank. You can't go back down out of a tier, or whatever. It's like if you get to diamond, you can't go down to platinum or whatever it was. Which I actually think that's a good system. But, it still allows this behavior to persist. And it's now inviting that behavior in. because there is this incentive, because there's an incentive to push for 15 wins, people are acting like garbage in this game. It's really freaking terrible. And that has been enough for me to finally go, because night after night after night after night after night, more nights than not, I am ending the night frustrated, upset, angry, and really just wanting to stop. Just wanting to have nothing more to do with this game ever. It's making me disgusted at a game that has so much to offer, because the other people playing are assholes. And it's because the incentive is to be an asshole. It is a zero-sum game. If I'm not playing like an asshole, then I am the victims for these other assholes who are going to force me to surrender, who are going to force me to play against their troll shit, and who are going to force me... Hell, I'm actually regretting now. I hated it, but I'm now regretting that T-Balt's been rotated out, because at least with T-Balt, they would surrender sometimes, and I'd pick up an easy win. But now it's just like they're going to just play an Izzet control deck or an Izzet mill deck. That's 80%, 90% of the queue, and the rest of them are some version of white aggro, and that's it. And that's all I'm finding. And like, they're outpacing me. They're either outpacing me or they're just removing everything that I play. And so I'm not playing the game. And that's the end of it. I played for fucking 5 hours, surrendered with an average of a game every 5 to 10 minutes. That was my average of about 5 minutes a game. That was over 100 games, and I won 6 of them, or something like. It was some insane number like that. It's like 72, I think, was the last time I did the math, and I won like 6 of them. And it's just like, that is absurd. That is obscene. And it's just because, these are trollish, bullshitty behaviors that are happening. And like, yes, even if we reduced it to 5, the behavior would continue. Which, I advocate sternly for removing daily wins, period. I think that's a bad idea, especially with a game where you want every deck to be around 60% win rate. Where you want the top playing decks to be around 60% win rate. You don't want any decks exceeding about 60%, because then it becomes overwhelming. And so like, that entire system itself is bad, but at least with 5 wins, if there has to be a daily win system. If, like, the Wizards of the Coast think that this game will just fall apart at the seams if there isn't a daily win system, at 5 wins, the ones that are willing to do the trollish, dickish behavior are going to get their wins quickly enough that they'll be in and out well before, in brief spurts, and they won't dilute the pool by remaining in the pool forever, hunting these 15 wins. Because I can assure you, they're not having the easiest of time with it either. And so they just are we're all stuck in this hellscape. With each of us dragging each other down and making it worse, because of this 15 win requirement. I think there should be 0. I think the wins that you get, the quests that you get every day, those wins that you can stock up for 3, I think those are a much better system. I think that's much healthier, because those never require wins. Those are based on cards played, or lands played, or things that you can do. Even if you lose the game, you're still making some progress on your quest. And like, if you need to incentivize, like, and I think, And then, you know, like, you get into the second problem, which is the wild cards. The wild card system at first looks really good. You can get these wild cards, and you can trade them for anything of the same rarity. But, like, the problem becomes very apparent when you see that there's a bunch of ways you're going to get a ton of common and uncommon wild cards, and you're going to get more mythic rare wild cards than you actually need. Because anytime you have a chance at getting a mythic rare, you also have a chance at getting a rare. So there are mythic rare only rewards, and then anytime you get a rare reward, it could also be a mythic rare reward, which means that you're going to get a lot of mythic rares compared to rares. And rare cards make up the bulk of the game. So you get these, and I've seen people screenshot these images where they've got 200 of every type of wild card and 0 rare wild cards. Like, they've got 200 commons, 200 uncommons, and 200 mythic rares. 0 rares. Because and that's a big problem too, because, like, you then have these, you'll open a pack and it'll be a mythic rare, and you're like, but I need a rare. What I need is a rare card, not this rarer card. I need a rare card. And that, you can see where this becomes a problem. You don't want to be opening a pack and get this super rare thing and go, ah, shit, I wish it was less rare. That's not what you want your players to be doing. And the fact that they don't even let you rare draft in the draft queues is sickening to me. If you choose to pick up every rare card that pops up in the draft queue, you're weakening your chances at winning. You should at least be getting rare wild cards for any of those cards that are over 4, that you already have more than 4 copies of. You should at least be getting a rare wild card for that. That you're only getting 20 gems is like, it is enough to make me want to scream, because that is insanity. It's just, oh god. I thought she was going to go to the bathroom first. I thought you were going to the bathroom first. Oh, I just wanted to get this out. Oh, God. Oh, God. All right. Well, I'm just going to go for it, and she's going to deal. Because I gotta get this out of me. And again, like this with the wild cards, there's such a simple solution. You can go with the standard double the amount. You can give every wild card a strict number, a price, and a reward cost. And you can go, common cards are worth 2, uncommon cards are worth 4, rare cards are worth 8, and mythic rares are worth 16. And when you get one, you get that many wildcard points, and the points can be spent on the cards at the rarity that the cards are at. And if you want to be cruel, you can double the price, so that, like, if you want to purchase a rare card, it costs 16. If you want to be cruel, you could also be kind and have it, or you can go anywhere in between, or you can manipulate the individual costs for individual cards. That's fine too. But by having all of the wild cards contribute to the same pool, the same numbered pool, you are allowing people to constantly build towards eventual payoff. That you're allowing people to go, well, I need those rare wild cards for this deck that I want. But hey, you know what? These common and uncommon cards, wild cards that I'm getting, I'll eventually get that rare wild card. Or hey, I got this mythic rare wildcard reward. That's amazing. I now can purchase some of the rare wildcards that I want. In fact, I can purchase more than I would have expected otherwise. It allows players to enjoy the reward system of the game without breaking the currency of the game. And also, when you're drafting, I can understand the common and uncommons. Like, I can understand that when you draft more than 4 common and uncommon cards, those get converted into this weird vault thing. I understand that. You're picking up a ton of common and uncommon cards, both out of packs and out of drafting. I understand the players would be saddled with so many common and uncommon wild cards. It would be unholy. So I understand converting them to Vault. I understand that. But the rare and mythic rare cards are the ones that people care about. And 20 and 40 gems is not the value of those cards. It is a fair comparison to state that the value of a pack of cards is entirely that rare and mythic rare card. So, unless you're rewarding us with enough gems to purchase a pack, you're not giving us a good enough reward for those wild cards. For what should be wild cards. Excuse me. And if you want to take this game one step further and really improve it, you have the opportunity to do so. You have these sets. You release one set every 3 months. You can set up 3 month long quest trees with a bunch of quests in them to do various things with the set that you've released, with the cards, specific cards that you've released. Having players play specific cards or win with specific cards over the course of 3 months, X number of times, and with varying rewards based on rarity. If you want to do this the simplest way, you can do it with each individual card having X number of times played in the 3 months to get their individual quest rewards, or a cluster group reward, or group them together, or however, there's so much you can do with that. And, you've already kind of got the visual of what this should look like in the mastery tree system. Only like this way, you're actually mastering the game. You're actually mastering the set. You're playing with the cards in the set and trying to win with them. And this would inspire people to try and build different decks. This would allow Arena to be a place where people brew decks, because they're seeking ways to win or play with these cards that otherwise just wouldn't be used. And it would immediately repair the damages done to the play queue, because people won't want to be testing these decks out in ranked. You have the opportunity here to do something really amazing, and I will be keeping an eye on the news coming out of Arena, and if these two problems, if the daily wins and the wild cards are solved at any point in time, I will happily come back to this, because it's a fascinating game, and everything else about it is well put together. But these are issues that you have to solve. You're not going to have a game that's profitable if you don't solve them, because you're not going to keep your whales. I know how free-to-play games work. You want a big free-to-play base, because that spreads the word and it brings in whales who are willing to spend money continuously and copiously, and you have that system set up just fine. The system is a black hole of money. But if you don't have the free-to-play players filling those queues, especially in a card game, especially in a game like this where you need people filling those queues, and I am telling you, there are many, many, many nights that I am playing against the same 4 or 5 other players, in the queue. Your queues are not healthy at the moment. You are running out of players, and that is a huge problem. This game is gonna die if you don't solve this, and I'm telling you right now, the 15 daily wins is the primary reason people aren't playing, especially in play queue. And the secondary is that the wildcard system currently is close to correct, but is still not where it needs to be. These two things are going to kill this game unless you solve them. And I will be watching. I have a little thing to let me know, like that puts out articles of news and whatnot. I will be watching. If you solve these two, I will come back, and I'm sure your game will become more healthy. But until you do, I'm not coming back, and you're going to continue to lose players. And you can blame the people, but at the end of the day, it's your job to please the people and get the people into those queues. If you can't manage to do that, that's on you, Wizards of the Coast. Good luck.